Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to chemistry. Today, we're going to continue talking about moles. Now that you've learned everything you can learn about moles, we're going to learn about mole conversions. Okay? Now, mole conversions. We're only going to start with one step. I'm going to walk you through this stuff really slowly to make sure you get this. Now, what do we know about moles? Well, we know that 1 mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms, right? And we also know that 1 mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd molecules, and so on. Well, we also know that if you look at the GFM, the gram formula mass of a molecule, that is also equal to 1 mole. Because we figured all this out, we can now start using conversions because we have our conversion factors here. Now that we know all this, we can start doing some real chemistry. Let's say I have a compound NaCl, sodium chloride, right? And let's say I have, 75 grams of NaCl. Well, if I have 75 grams of NaCl, how many moles do I have? How will we do this problem? Well, whenever you're doing chemistry problems, guys, there's only 2 things you care about, your starting point and your ending point. What is my starting point here? My starting point is 75 grams. Well, where do I want to go? I want to go to moles. So I got to start off in grams and get to moles. A lot of the questions you read, especially when you take like the AP exam or when you get into college, they do all this big old fancy paragraph. Bob was running through the park and he bought a hamburger. And with his hamburger, he wanted to put some salt. He had 75 grams of salt. I wonder, how many moles of salt did Bob have? They give you this big old long paragraph, and really you only care about 2 things, your starting point and your ending point. So I'm going to look at my conversions. Can I get to moles from grams? Well, look, the gram formula mass. This is your gram aspect. So yeah, I can get to moles from grams because I know that the molar mass of the compound is equal to 1 mole. So let's go ahead and set up this problem. Now, I'm going to start off with 75 grams. This is what they gave me. And I know this is a 1-step problem because we can go from grams straight into moles with 1 step. So I'm going to draw 1 set of boxes, okay? Right there, really simple. Now, if you can remember, last time we talked about math, the chem math, we did conversions, and I showed you how to use these boxes. But I'll give you a refresher here. Remember, we're going to fill our boxes with units first, not numbers, just units. Now, remember what I said. Whatever's up here goes down there. Okay? Whatever's up here goes down there. So since I started off with 75 grams, I'm going to take this grams and put it down here. Boom. Okay? And where do you want to go to? Well, I want to go to moles, so I'm going to go to moles. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Whenever you're doing mole conversions, you always go to moles first. I'm going to repeat that. You always go to moles first. Because we're going to start doing more complicated mole conversions, but you just got to remember, whatever unit you're in, you got to go to moles first. But in this case, we're going to moles, so it's nice and simple. Now it's time to plug in numbers. What does mole get? Mole gets 1. What does grams get? Grams gets the GFM. Well, remember what the GFM is? The GFM is the molar mass of this compound right here. So we've got to calculate the molar mass of that compound. So how do I do that? Well, you pull out the players. We got Na, 1 of them, and we got 1 Cl. Okay? So I got to get their weights from the periodic table. If I look up on the periodic table, I know that Na weighs 22.990. And if I look up chlorine, chlorine weighs 35.9 58.453. Now look, normally I would then multiply by however many I have, but I only have one of each, so I could go ahead and just add these guys together, right? 3 plus 0 is 3, 9 plus 5 is 14, 9 plus 4 is 13, plus 1 is 14, that's 7, that's 8, that's 5. So now I know the molar mass is 58.443. So there you go. That's the molar mass. The hardest part about doing mole conversions, guys, is the molar mass. And y'all know how to do that already. Now let's go ahead and finish this problem up. Remember, when we get back to the conversion chart here, we multiply the top together and we're going to get a number. We're going to multiply the bottom together and we're going to get a number, and we save dividing for last. Okay? Well, let's do the bottom part first. There's nothing but this 58.443, so we're going to carry it across. 58.443. Good. Now, 75. What's 75 times 1? Well, 75 times 1 is 75, right? So now I can divide last. So I'm going to go 75 divided by 58.443, and that's going to give me equals 1.28 moles of NaCl. Okay, guys? We just did a basic mole conversion. They started us off with 75 grams, and we converted it to moles. Guys, pause this video, rewind this video, and look at this over and over again until you understand how to convert from grams to moles. I'm going to give you one more example, just to make sure we have this. Let's say, I don't know, let's say we have 4.5 moles of water, H2O. Well, if I have 4.5 moles of water, how many grams of water do I have? So let's do this conversion. Again, this is a grams to mole conversion, and if you look right here, a grams to mole conversion is just a one-step problem. We're going to set it up. Just start me off with 4.5 moles of water. Writing your units is important, guys. It keeps you from getting lost. It's a one-step problem. I do not care about numbers anymore, right? I only care about units. I have my starting point here, and I'm trying to get to grams, okay? I'm going from moles to grams. So let's set it up. Remember what I said. Whatever unit is up here goes down here. Whatever unit is up here goes down here. So let's do that. We got to go moles of H2O. And where do I want to go to? I want to go to grams of H2O. Okay? So now let's plug in numbers now that we have our units all put out. Well, I know if we come up here, what does grams get? The GFM, and moles get 1. So I'm going to go ahead and give moles his 1. But I've got to figure out the GFM of this water. Well, let's see what we have with water. We have 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Okay. So if I look up on the periodic table, hydrogen weighs 1.008, but I have 2 of them. So 1.008 times 2 is 2.016. Now oxygen, looking on the periodic table, weighs 15.999. I have 1 of those guys, so it's just 15.999. My last step is to add it together. So 9 plus 6 is 15. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus it's 11. That's 9, 10. That's 7, that's 8. So water weighs 18.015 grams per mole, right? But so I get to plug that in right here, 18.015. Okay. Now it's time to actually do the math for the equation, or for the mole conversion. Multiply the top together, multiply the bottom together, and divide last. We're going to do 4.5 times 18.015, and that's going to give me 81.07, and we're going to carry the 1. So 81.07 divided by 1 is 81.07 grams of H2O. Okay? I put my decimal in there. So if I have 4.5 moles of water, that means I have 81.07 grams of water. Now we're starting to learn about this stuff and how to convert and how does it become useful in our lives. Right now we're just learning how to convert. We'll talk about what we use all this for later. So what have we learned so far? Well, I know if they start me off with grams, I can convert it to moles. I know if I have grams, I can convert it to moles. Well, how do I convert it to moles? Well, what do we use to convert to moles? We use the GFM. We use the gram formula mass to go between moles and grams. Because mole is always going to get 1, and whether we're multiplying or dividing, we're going to be multiplying or dividing by this GFM. Okay? So you look right here. In the first example, we divided by the GFM. In the second example, we multiplied by the GFM. Now, so you don't get lost, I gave you these conversion charts right here. How to convert using dimensional analysis. If you follow my dimensional analysis steps, guys, you will never get lost and you will never accidentally multiply when you should be dividing or divide when you should be multiplying. That's how you convert between grams and moles. This is just a small part. We'll do more later. Just remember, when you're doing these problems, rewind the video. I gave you an example of how to get from grams to moles, and I gave you how to get from moles to grams. So you should be able to do that for any compound. The hardest part is calculating the molar mass, and that's not even hard. So I hope this helps you, and have a great day.